Welcome to the City of Waukesha's Parks, Recreation, and Forestry's Virtual Rec Center. Today, we're going to be learning how to make a florist bow. This is a bonus or an add-on to the Walk It Wednesdays, December's Lantern Walk at Frame Park. This walk will be taking place on December 9th. And each participant will be receiving one of these cute little lanterns, and we hope that you can join us. If you're interested in participating, please register at our website, waukesha-wi.gov. Right now, we are going to learn how to make a bow. So the supplies that you'll be needing are a nice sharp pair of scissors, some kind of wire snippers. I just have a needle nose pliers that I have a wire snipper in the middle here that I can use. A florist wire or paddle wire will work. I also have something that I picked up at the garden center called Clip Twist. It's a wire that's covered in plastic. That works really well. Also, the trick to finding the right wire is that you don't want it too thin that it's going to snap off easily, and likewise you don't want it to be too thick that it's going to be hard to bend and manipulate. So somewhere in the middle would be great. Also, for the beginner bow makers out there, I would suggest using a ribbon that has a pattern on one side and no pattern on the other. This will be an easy way to tell if you're twisting your loops correctly. Also, it is helpful to have a wired ribbon as well. Once you get a little more experienced, then feel free to use whatever ribbon you want, but while learning, that's going to make the process a little bit easier for you. There are many ways to make a bow. I'm going to show you the way that I was taught a long time ago, and hopefully you will find it easy that you can do at home and incorporate in any of your gift wrapping or holiday decorative needs. So let's get started. The first thing that I wanted to do was show you a little drawing that I made. This is basically the structure of the bow that we're going to be doing. We're going to be working on a center loop, and then we're going to be alternating sides by twisting underneath that center loop. As you can see, I always, as I'm adding on an additional layer, I make the ribbon a little bit wider and I add an extra loop to each side. And that's going to create essentially rings around the center loop when you fluff out the ribbon, and it'll look really pretty. So I just wanted to show you that picture first because that mental image will kind of help you create your own bow and kind of picture what it's supposed to look like in your head. All right, so go ahead and take your ribbon, and you want to give yourself a pretty good length. And then you're going to start by creating your first loop, and this is going to be the loop that is right in the center. So essentially you always want the pattern to be on the outside of the ribbon. And we're going to do that by kind of creating a circle. And you're going to lay this end inside of this circle so they're sitting on top of each other. I'm going to make mine a little bit smaller now that you see how I'm doing the first loop. And so I'm going to go ahead and pinch those together. I'm going to squish them, and I'm using my fingers and I'm pinching the ribbon together. Okay, now I'm going to place my thumb on the inside of the loop, and I'm going to twist my end that is still attached to the bolt of ribbon so that the pattern is up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my loop on this side. Again, your pattern is always on the outside. You're going to bring it to your middle. Now I'm using my next finger to gather it in, and I'm going to squish it in the center and add it to my pinched fingers. So now I need my loop on this side, and I'm going to do that by twisting the ribbon underneath. It should be like a 180-degree turn so that the pattern again is on the outside of the ribbon and the knot pattern side is on the inside of the ribbon. You're going to try to make the loops even on both sides. You're bringing it in, tucking it under, and bringing it under your pinched fingers. So now we're going to keep on going, again by twisting the ribbon so that the pattern is on the outside of the bow. Create another loop by bringing the fabric or the ribbon underneath your central pinched finger and gather it again. So now we have three loops other than the centered ribbon. So now we're going to keep on going. So if you can kind of see, I always use the thought that I've kind of created a box, and these loops are my four corners. So this is my first box. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to create the next layer in my bow. So each side now is going to get 3 loops. And then it will be 4 loops. The next layer also, I'm going to extend the loop so that it's about an inch, a half inch to an inch longer than my first box, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and do that kind of quickly there. So I'm just going back and forth. All right, so this is a really hardy ribbon, really thick ribbon. So I'm going to stop here. I have my center loop. I have my first 4 loops that create my first layer, and then I have the next layer directly underneath it with 3 on each side. So now I'm going to use a long piece of wire because I'm using a really thick ribbon. And you're going to put it inside of the first loop, and you're going to create a hairpin by pulling down on both sides, like so. And you want to try to get this as tight as you can So you're going to twist it once. And then what I do is I crank it by going like this. It's almost like it's a lever. And that will get your bow nice and tight. So now you have to fluff your ribbon. And you do that by pulling out your loops so that they create the layers that you were looking for. And it's easy for me to manipulate this ribbon because of the wire that is inside of the sides of it. So that is basically how you make your bow. I'm going to cut off my ribbon and I'm going to finish it off by folding the sides together, and I'm going to make a fishtail cut. You do that by cutting from the inside and going out to the corners so that it creates a V. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, fold the edges together, start from the inside and cut at an angle out to the corners to get a V. Alright, and like I said, this can be used for whatever application that you would like. On top of a gift would be awesome. I'm going to put it on my wreath here today. You're going to do that by just opening up your wire that you put on. Finding a nice spot, tuck it into the evergreen. And twisting. And once it's on your wreath or whatever, you're probably going to need to do a little refluffing. Like so. Now for the lantern that we get at the lantern walk, obviously your bow's going to be quite small. So if you are shopping for a ribbon for that application, I would suggest getting something pretty skinny. This would be the widest that I would recommend that you get. Well, that's it. I would recommend just practicing over and over. Trying to practice your loops and making sure that your pattern's on the outside of the ribbon. I wish you luck and do encourage you to sign up for the Lantern Walk. We hope that we see you there. Thank you. Bye-bye.